guys, it's Charlene. I wanted to share with you the February Scrapbook and Cards Today sampler. In this month's sampler, there is a random selection of items from two different collections. One is the Doodle-Bug Lots of Love collection, and the other is the Simple Stories Happy Hearts collection. So you can see that there is some patterned paper as well as some embellishments for the Simple Stories collection, and the same for the Doodle-Bug collection. Then there's also a beautiful happy word die with shadow, which I'm very excited about using, and that is a Scrapbook and Cards Today exclusive. We are going to make several pattern paper cards today, and I'm going to go through and walk you step by step on how to make them. They are so cute and they are really quick and easy to make. So let's get started. I'm going to show you what I think is my favorite card first. So you can see I have cut out two of the white happy word die, and then I have cut out one in pink of the happy word die, and then I cut out the shadow layer in white as well. So now I'm just gluing them all together, layering them up, and this is going to give the die cut some dimension. So you just dot your glue on there, and I like to hold one side with my tweezers, which kind of keeps it still when it's sitting on my craft mat. And then I just line up and lay down one side of it, and then I can take the tweezers off and kind of work my way along the rest of the word, just sort of pinching along the edges of the letters. And then lastly, I can put the glue on so that I can adhere it to the shadow. This doesn't take too long, and it really does make a difference having the multiple layers of the die cut. Now I have done this 3 times, so that way I have 3 sets of this word, because this is going to be the main focal point on the front of our card. Now I'm using a piece of this really cute pattern paper from the Doodle-Bug collection, and I'm using a stitched frame die from Simon Says Stamp, and I have cut out the largest frame die. Now I can go in and glue my 3 words with the shadow down to this piece of pattern paper. This is going to look so cool when it's all done. If you're doing repeating embellishments like this, it's a good idea to do it in sets of 3. And then I always recommend putting down your middle embellishment, whatever it is. That way you can pretty easily go back in and see where you should put the top one and the bottom one so that they're evenly spaced and balanced on your card. I like having a craft mat that has grid lines because it allows me to sort of line things up. I just put my card down so that it's on the lines, and then I can sort of see where I need to put my words or embellishments on the card. Now I know some people this bothers them so much. So, whatever works well for you, but if you have trouble lining things up and you don't have a grid mat like this, it might be worth giving that a try because it certainly helps me a lot. You can also get a T-ruler and use that to line things up on your cards. That way does not work terribly well for me. I much prefer this way because I tend to knock things around. So if I have a T-ruler, I tend to sort of knock it around on my card, which defeats the purpose. Now I have my 3 word die cuts down on the front of the card, and I love how cute this looks. Now I did save the scrap of paper that the frame was cut from, and I am going to adhere this on the inside of my card. I like to save little scraps of the pattern paper that I'm using for a card and glue them on the inside of the card if I can. I think it just creates a nice little touch, and it ties the inside of the card to the outside of the card. I am using an A2 size card that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and it's side folding. You could also do a top fold card. For this one, I just kind of felt like doing a side fold card, and I think it looks really super cute with this frame on the inside. And you're just going to want to make sure that you trim it down enough so that you can still close your card. In hindsight, I did put mine a little bit too close to the crease because it didn't close perfectly flat, which was unfortunate. but I still think it looks really good. So then I'm just adhering the front to the card base, and once I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and stamp a sentiment on the inside of the card. Now I am using the Gina K Garden Silhouette stamp set that was in the, I believe in the December sampler, and I'm using that for my stamped sentiments today. So if you have that sampler, that's where this came from. So I'm stamping happy birthday on the inside. So then you have the happy, happy, happy on the outside and happy birthday on the inside. I think this is a really cute birthday card, and because it doesn't have a lot of dimension or embellishments on it, it will mail very easily. Now for the second card, I have kept that scrap of the rainbow pattern paper, and I'm going to use it on my second card. So I have taken that strip, I'm just going to adhere it so that the other side of the pattern paper is what you see, and I'm adhering it to this really cute piece of pattern paper that reminds me very much of kind of like an 80s chocolate box that you would have received for Valentine's Day or something like that, that somebody picked up at the drugstore. I don't know, but I think it's really cute. And then I did go ahead and cut out again using a stitched rectangle die a card panel from that sheet, and you can see that it didn't cut all the way through of the two pieces. So just where it didn't cut all the way through, I just used my scissors to finish cutting that out. And now I'm adding this super cute cardstock sticker. Oh my gosh, I love these Doodle-Pop cardstock stickers. They are so cool. Whenever they come in the samplers, I'm so excited because they're just adorable. I don't know. I always try to, they're the first thing I think about using on a card when I see that they're in the sampler. And this one is definitely cute. It's got that rainbow, and it's kind of hard to tell in the video, but that rainbow is, it has dimension to it. It's kind of like 3D, and it's just really cute. It goes inside the envelope that's all folded up. I love it. So I took that and I used the embellishment tag that said thank you on it, and I put that underneath the cardstock sticker and placed it so that it was in the middle of the card on that strip of pattern paper. And then I just glued down the tag once I had everything in the spots where I wanted it. And now I have taken the two little heart stickers that came along with the Doodle-Pop, and I've adhered those as well. So now I'm going to adhere the whole card panel to a piece of black cardstock with just a really thin frame. That's going to tie the sentiment, the thank you sentiment that's in black. It's going to tie it to the outer frame and just make the card look a little bit more cohesive. And that is very thin. It's probably about a 32nd of an inch, maybe, or actually probably about a 16th of an inch, I should say, all the way around the edge. And then once I have that done, I'm going to adhere it to my card base. Again, this is just an A2 size card. And I am going to put actually a piece of craft EVA foam that you can see I cut out off camera. And I usually cut these just a hair smaller than the panel, but if for some reason it goes over, I trim it with my scissors. But I do like to try and cut it just slightly smaller than the panel, so it's fairly easy to line up, and then I don't have to worry about trimming it, but it's still going to add all that dimension and support underneath the card panel so that if it goes through the mail, I don't have to worry about it getting smushed. Now I'm going to use my liquid adhesive again to go ahead and adhere this to the card base, and this time I'm using a top folding card base. And that is pretty much it for this card. I am going to use again that piece of scrap paper from the little heart candy box looking paper. I'm going to use that on the inside of the card, and I'm just gonna, I trimmed it down to I think about 1.5 inches, and I'm just going to glue that in there, and then I can trim the end off with my scissors. I like to do it that way so that way I can ensure that it goes the full length of the card. It's better to have it a little too long when you're doing this and trim it off with scissors than to cut it a little too short and then have to mess around with trying to trim your card base, which is no fun. I've done that. I've done that plenty of times. I don't like doing that. So I would much rather do it this way. Once I get that on there, I like to put it so that there's a little bit of white space on the left, but then so that there's still plenty of white space on the right to write your greeting, whatever that's going to be, to whoever you're sending it to. Once I have that done, you can see I trimmed that off with my scissors, and there is the finished card. Really cute and easy, did not take long to put together at all, just a couple of minutes. So for my next two cards, I am actually using one piece of pattern paper, and I tried something a little bit different. I drew out sort of what I wanted the card to look like, figured out all the dimensions, and then I figured out how to cut them from the piece of pattern paper. So I ended up cutting two pieces that were 4.5 by 3 inches, and then I cut 6 1-inch squares, and then I cut two strips that were 1/2 inch by 3 inches. And now I'm cutting everything out in white cardstock as well, but I'm cutting it just a little bit larger so that way there's going to be a white border around everything. And so I have 3 squares of white that are 1¼ inches by 1¼ inches, and then I have 2 pieces of white that are 4¾ inches by 3¼ inch, and then I have 3 strips of white that are cut to 3/4 inches by 3¼ inches. I think that's right. I'll list down below in the description all of the dimensions that I used in case you are wanting to recreate these cards. I thought they were kind of fun to do. And then when you put them on the card base, you're going to have space on the right hand side in order to stamp a sentiment. So you can see I've got everything all cut out and layered, and now I'm going to go ahead and adhere it all together. I start out by putting the center strip, and then I'm going to go ahead and put down the 3 squares. And depending on what side of the pattern paper you use or what type of pattern paper you use, this could be very busy or it could not be. It could have lots of little images on it or not, just depends on the type of paper that you are using. And you could use a different color of cardstock to do the background. I kind of wish I had used like a pink or a blue. So if you're trying this, that might be something that you want to give a go and see how that looks. Now again, I'm using that Gina K stamp from the Little Gardens silhouette stamp from the December sampler, and I have stamped Hello Friend on the right hand side. I'm using a piece of white craft EVA foam to pop up the entire card panel, and then I'm just going to adhere that to the card front. So you can see there, I think it would have just looked a little bit nicer if I had either used a colored card base or if I had used something other than white for the pieces that create the borders. So I still like how it looks. I think it looks nice, but I think in color it might have just added a little bit more to the card. Now I am going to come in with some of the Doodle-Pop embellishments that were included in the sampler, and I'm going to go ahead and put 3 little hearts underneath the word Hello Friend on one of the cards, and then on the other card I'm going to put the 3 little hearts on the center square, the one that has the XOXO paper, because I wanted to have something that would draw your attention as a focal point, since that paper is kind of repetitive. It doesn't have any images or anything like that on it. Again, these are both top folding A2 size cards, 4¼ by 5½, and you can see there I've put little hearts on there, and I think they are really cute. All right, guys, those are my 4 easy pattern paper cards for you. These did not take long at all. Anyone could make these. I hope that you enjoyed them. I hope you find some time to get crafty today. Please do hit the like and subscribe buttons as well as the notification bell if you haven't done that already. And until next time, happy crafting.